Hello there. The Labour Party has become toxic to a large chunk of its core vote, the Muslim vote. So I do have to wonder who they will now be voting for. According to a Survation poll for the Labour Muslim Network published today, the number of Muslims prepared to vote for Labour at the next general election has dropped by nearly a third due to Keir Starmer's stance on the Israel-Gaza conflict. According to the Telegraph reporting on this, only 60% of Muslims are planning to vote for Labour at the next general election, compared to 86% when Jeremy Corbyn was the Labour leader. And that's a drop in support of 30%. And given that at least as far back as 2015, it had been acknowledged that the Muslim vote was having an increasing impact on elections, then this will come as bad news for Keir Starmer. And it can only increase pressure on him to align his party's foreign policy stance with that of the Islamic community. And that means that he would, if elected, be determining the UK's foreign policy based on the demands of a section of one demographic in the UK. Namely, in this case, to call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and recognise a Palestinian state immediately on entering number 10. But other demands may well flow on from that. And a ceasefire in Gaza would give Hamas ample opportunity to rearm, train and resupply, with inevitable consequences given Hamas pronouncements on their avowed course of action in the past, which I'll come on to. That of not stopping until Israel no longer exists. Now it transpires that some of his Labour MPs, who are calling for Labour to back an immediate ceasefire, are doing so because they face competition from potential pro-Palestine candidates at the next general election. Although it's not clear whether those candidates would be standing as independents or for some or other party, maybe even a new party. Now, Mish Rahman, a member of Labour's National Executive Committee, said, "These findings are deeply worrying, but unsurprising. For months I have been alarmed by the Labour leadership's willingness to turn a blind eye to Islamophobia within the party. It's clear that the leadership is not taking this issue seriously. This poll should be a wake-up call to change course before it's too late." Islamophobia. Is it now Islamophobic not to follow their instructions or something? Now, Keir Starmer once held the view that Israel has the right to protect and defend itself, but that seems to be melting away with the electoral sands. He's already said something along the lines that he didn't mean it when he suggested that Israel has the right to withhold power and water from the Gaza Strip while the conflict continued. The truth is that Israel is not required to feed enemy fighters or give them other comforts while conflict exists. And ensuring aid supplies, power and water are not intercepted and used by Hamas is a part of that process. Not only that, we also have the unelected Foreign Secretary David Cameron naively talking about recognising a state of Palestine and a two-state solution, when anyone who's read the stuff Hamas pumps out knows that the end aim for Hamas is a one-state solution, their one Islamic state solution. Otherwise, why all the offensive chants of "from the river to the sea" being bandied about, especially by the useful lefty idiots parading around London every weekend? From the river to the sea means one single state, not a two-state solution. Only an idiot could think otherwise. How many times have they rejected a two-state solution already? Just read the Hamas 2017 declaration. There is no talk in it about a two-state solution, and anyone trying to impose a two-state solution on Hamas would become their enemy. And if they did agree to one, it would only be a temporary state of affairs until they achieved their aim as laid down in that 2017 declaration. I'll quote one sentence from it. Hamas rejects any alternative to the full and complete liberation of Palestine from the river to the sea. Meaning from the River Jordan right the way across to the Mediterranean Sea. Where's the two-state solution in that? And further it says, resisting the occupation with all means and methods is a legitimate right guaranteed by divine laws and by international norms and laws. At the heart of these lies armed resistance, which is regarded as the strategic choice for protecting the principles and the rights of the Palestinian people. Now add those two together and see what the logical outcome is. Hamas, while it survives, will fight until Israel is destroyed. There is no alternative to a fully sovereign Palestinian state on the entire national Palestinian soil with Jerusalem as its capital, the declaration says. And if that happened, what chances would you give any remaining Jewish population, given the October the 7th atrocities by Hamas terrorists? I would put forward that the Jews would be subject to yet another genocide, a real genocide, not the fake one that Hamas supporters are claiming at the moment. During the Holocaust, 6 million Jews were killed, over 4 years, at the rate of 4,000 a day. And by 1945, 2 in every 3 Jews in Europe had been murdered. Part of the reason why establishing the Jewish state of Israel was so important. And I see no sign of the IDF herding hundreds of thousands of Gaza citizens at gunpoint onto trains to be taken to faraway places for disposal. Do you? No. But I do have to wonder what would happen were the roles reversed in this current situation. And I would hazard that many of those lefties we see waving Palestine flags in London would be cheering as Israelis were forced out of their homes and ejected from their own country, or worse. Because that's what those lefties appear to me to be supporting. So I do have to wonder if our esteemed Foreign Secretary has read that Hamas declaration and how he would frame a two-state solution and living peacefully cheek by jowl with a separate Jewish state existing with them between the river and the sea if he was talking to a group of hardened Hamas terrorists. Or is he hoping that peer pressure from surrounding nations will bring Hamas to heel? Good luck with that one. And what further worries me is that if politicians get into power here in the UK, pushing a policy that Israel is not empowered to defend itself, then they probably also think that the UK is not empowered to defend itself, and any pretense we still have of borders will disappear overnight. And there would suddenly be no need for people to enter this country illegally and convert to Christianity in order to prevent deportation, because there would never be a deportation, because there would be no borders to speak of. But there would be a lot of people leaving the UK, mainly any remaining Jews. The truth is, we are approaching a crossroads in the UK, where, if we wish to maintain our way of life, rock-hard decisions will have to be made.